Shalom, man. I'd like to start off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and much peace and love to all the Akim pushing this truth and sincerity. All right, this is the brother Lahaf Mayad, and I want to go into Revelation 17, and the point that I want to bring out is in the middle of verse 8, but I'm going to just go ahead and give a little bit of a backstory. All right, so verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Now, that great whore is America, aka Babylon. All right, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. All right, and that wine is going into the philosophies that America has pushed across the world, man. I such as democracy, religion, idolatry, homosexuality, lies, adultery, covetousness, murder. All right, and one of the biggest philosophies that America has claims that they have brought to the world as a big benefit is democracy, man. And I'm about to show you how democracy is actually against the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, because if you were to go to First Samuel's 16:7, all right, and this here is going into when King David was actually made king. All right, and verse 7 is it's actually speaking on one of his brothers, Eliab. All right, but verse 7, but Yahweh said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance, speaking about on Eliab, or not the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yahweh seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looketh on the heart. All right, and that outward appearance is not just a man's countenance, but it could also go into like a man's reputation, and that's exactly what democracy is, man. It's all about the way in which you sell yourself to people in order for you to be elected into a position of rulership, man. And that's not the clearly. I just read to you that that's not the way things are, man. Because according to Jeremiah 17:9, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? All right, and we all know that it's Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai who knows every man's heart. All right, democracy is not the way in which you're supposed to rule a nation. All right, because like for example, take these presidents, man. They they get elected on all these promises, but when they get to basically into the White House, not only do they not keep those promises, they actually end up doing things they said they would never do. All right, that's just right, a point right there, an example of how democracy is not the way in which you're supposed to rule a nation. It's supposed to be according to the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, so going back to Revelations 17. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. All right, and those 7 heads and 10 horns, that's the 7 heads. It's actually going into kingdoms of Esau, Edom throughout time, which is actually here, man. Right here, starting with Germania Major, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, Germania Minor, the British, and the Greeks, man. All right, and the 10 horns is it's actually going into the EU. Okay, the 10 horns represent the Common Market or the European Economic Community, EEC, established in 1958. Today the EEC is known as the EU, the European Union. All right, and the beast is NATO, and these are the countries that make up both the European Union and NATO. All right, that's the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Okay, verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones, and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. All right, once again, that's those are the philosophies. All right, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. All right, because America has reached its greatness off of the sweat and blood of the nation of Israel, man. Ever since the so-called Negro was brought here for slavery, up until now, where the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Latinos, are immigrating over here for a so-called better life. All right. Verse 7. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay. Verse 8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. And when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. Right? And that beast that was, that's going into the Roman Empire. And is not, that's when it fell, and yet is, that's America, because America is Rome reincarnated. All right, America is in the spirit and the image of Rome. All right, and if you want a deeper understanding of Revelation 17, man, just you can on YouTube just GMS Revelation 17. All right, because the point that I want to get here is in the middle of verse 8. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. All right, and that's going into 2/3 of our people. That's whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the earth. All right, now I want to get that word wonder, because it'll show you what kind of spirit our people will be in, man. Okay, G2296, Thaumazo.
Strong's G 2296, Thaumazo. Thaumazo.
Okay, to wonder at, marvel, to be wondered at, to be had in admiration. All right. The root word, a wonderful thing, a marvel, wonder, to wonder with great wonder exceedingly. All right. So 2/3 of our people, man, they actually admire America and everything it represents. They see no need for anything here to change. All right, but that's the reason why they're wicked. All right, they're liars. They're deceitful. All right, they it's a heavy. They're heavy into adultery and just straight wickedness, man. Everything that's against the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. But we've been commanded to not be like these East Edomites, man, because that's who's in rulership here in America. These Edomites, all right, and they're extremely wicked, man. On Jeremiah 51:6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. All right, flee out of the midst of Babylon. All right, and this is not speaking physically, man. We're not supposed to leave and like go into another country. This is actually speaking spiritually. All right, we're supposed to leave the ways of Esau, Edom. All right, leave the ways that we were born and raised in this land, in this captivity, and come back to our true heritage, man. Our true behavior. Come back to righteousness, man. The will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, and pursuant to if If Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is dealing with you, man, according to Isaiah 30 and 20, all right, you'll understand who your teachers are, man. And those are the men who are set up to teach you the way back. All right, because if not, man, if you refuse to spiritually stop being like these Edomites, to be holy, which means to set yourself apart. All right, this right here is what's gonna happen to you. Revelation 14, starting at verse 8. All right, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, and those who are gonna worship the beast and the image and receive the mark are actually those that admire, man. The same ones that's spoken of in Revelation 17 and 8. Those same people who wonder, who admire, who try to imitate, all right, are those that are going to receive the mark, man, and worship this entire system. And you see it every day, man. You see Jake completely lost, man, completely bugged out. You try to sit there and you try to tell them their true identity, all right, what their behavior should be, but it's as if you're cursing them out. They hate you for it, man. Hey, but so be it. All right, verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine. Yeah, verse 10. Let me see. In the third angel. Yeah, verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And that means his righteous hatred. All right, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. All right, the ICBM missiles, man, because America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire, man. These other countries are going to betray America and destroy it with those ICBMs. All right, tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. All right, and this is what awaits you 2/3, man. So if you can listen to these words, man, and these words resonate with your spirit, man, hey, it's time to be in the spirit, man. It's time to get into the scriptures and understand what your behavior should be. And of course, man, everything is easier said than done. All right, since birth, all right, we've been following Esau Edom, man, the so-called white man. And that's who the Edomites are, man. The self-proclaimed white man. All right, there's nothing. They give themselves the name of white to try to pass off as a pure and righteous people, but they're the opposite of that. All right, they're the wicked that the Bible speaks of, the devil. They're the devil, man. All right, and it's time for us to not be like them, man, and come back. And that's if you have ears to hear and eyes to see. All right, and with that, man, I hope this was edifying, man. Shalom.